Good afternoon. It is September 8th, 2022, and today we really just had a range day. You can see the opening is down here, and the closing is pretty far up here. So on the daily chart, it's going to look like a bullish bar, but I don't have that up right now, so I'm not going to look through that, or I'm not going to open that up. But yeah, it is going to look bullish, closing near its high. But anyway. Let's take a look at the trades. I don't know how much time I got with privacy, so I'll try and go quick. I put this box here to remind me. There are two ways you could have drawn this channel. If you draw it like this, which I think is probably more valid, you can see we get the overshoot and it leads to a break. But I think a lot of people were probably playing it like this. You can see the bounce off the midline right there. This midline, it looks valid. And then we get this double test down here, and then it rockets out. But I just wanted to say people are going to play it different ways, especially if you're new to this. It's hard. It might be hard to understand that, but people play these trends different ways. So let's see. 5 o'clock comes in right here, and then you get a news item, probably right here. But I thought it was at 5:30. But that's why there's so much volatility in here. So this is a new swing. You might that's a failure, but you wouldn't want to take that failed second entry long. But when you get this one right here, you might want to take that. Even though technically it ticked higher right here, I'm going to put a green arrow right there as second entry failure that you might take. Not the cleanest setup. Even if you draw it like that, you can see it's off that trend channel. So you know what? Ooh, that's very tempting. I'm going to mark that red. We have this larger channel confirmed, and then we have this short-term channel, and that's a failure. So I like that. That brings you all the way down here. That would probably be the only trade you need, really. That brings you down here, and then we're just chopping, going sideways. I don't like this stuff. And we bounce eventually. I don't think there's a way to get in on that. And come here, get a first entry, second entry, but that's going into the highs and the midline. But you do get a failure right here. I'm not too crazy about this one. You'd probably be playing this like congestion at that point. If you don't have the highs up here, you'd have it right here. So I'm not too crazy about that. It closes below the EMA, but it is a failure. You can see that. Then you get this. Okay, let's mark this one. Get a second entry long right here, and I say that's a matching low. Couldn't break lower. It's not a higher low, but that's off the trend line too. So I say you take that. That kind of looks like the second entry, so you could argue for that one. And because that's a lot of dojis, that's a lot of inside bars at that point, so you probably want to sit out. But I think this one you take. But that trend isn't strong enough, and it doesn't hold, and we get this congestion, and it fails, and you can see there's a little spike in channel down right there. Break, first entry, second entry. This just looks like too strong of a buyback for me to just blindly take this second entry short. And then it just becomes congestive. I don't think you make a new high right here, so it's just chopping back and forth. Finally, it bounces. Come up here. This turns out to be a trend. First entry, second entry, but I don't think I would take that just because it's going into the EMA. But you get a first entry, failed second entry short, further confirming this trend channel. You got to take that. This is we didn't make a new low, but this kind of looks like a failure, but it's not off the EMA. And this, okay, new low, first entry, failed second entry, but it's not really off any trend line. So maybe you could, nah, see, yeah, you can't, that's not off trend line. I don't think, this looks like it could be a trend line. So it's just, that's tough. With these two swings going below it, I think that's tough. And I think you got to sit this one out. And you're going into you're going into the overnight highs. So, well, we do go above the overnight highs though, and you get a first entry, second entry, closes below the EMA. I'm not crazy about it. It looks like we're going sideways. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that one. But then you get this first failed second entry long, or failed second entry short that looks pretty similar to this one. I think you got to take that. Room to the highs for a scalp. Come up here. This looks like a second entry long, but it just didn't set up well. And this is just sideways stuff. And you can see this trend is just dwindling and dying out. We break out, fail to make a new high, and make a nice leg down here. They fail to bring it higher. Unfortunately, I don't think this is a new high. So first entry. Okay, so the failure happens right there. You could argue for this one because it looks like a hidden second entry short as well, but this one's an inside bar. That's a bunch of dojis lined up. This looks congested, so I don't think you can go short in here. And it's a shame because the floor falls out. Come down here. Get a first entry, second entry short. It is looking like there's some congestion here, but after that big move down, I like that. And then we come over here and you get a double test. So really, after the fact, the range highs are probably up here. And I like this double test, but if you see that this is a potential range and it looks like it is, that's dangerous. And you can see you would have had a heart attack. But then you get a second entry short. And by that point, I'm just a little concerned because we have a higher close and it looks like we could have a reversal setting up. So I think you want to stay out of those. Failure happens right here. It's in congestion. Don't take that. First entry, so this is a failure right here. If you have that trend line and you see it's a breakout pullback off of this price level, I say you take that. I like that. It might be blue, maybe Mac will mark it blue. But anyway, we go higher. First entry, second entry long doesn't set up. It's a failure. And you get this leg of correction. You can see probably something like that. And it just rockets up after this double test. I don't think you want to take that, even though that's a double test right there. It's below the EMA. I mean, yeah, we might be going to make a new high, but we might not. So rockets up, finds resistance at the overnights. You can see we form a range. No way to get in this. Breakout, fails, makes a new high. All this congestion, stay out of that. Come down to the lows, and we're just chopping back and forth. I like this on a double test with a super bullish bar that's also a second entry long. I like that, but it's a range. I mean, really, it's probably be green, but there's a lot of support there, so. And there's plenty of room to these highs. It's just that EMA that you would have to be concerned about. Then we get this failure set up, but this is too congestive. Come up here. There's reason to want to go short here, but we made higher lows and higher highs, so I'm not crazy about that. And this lower high is very congestive and not enough room to the EMA. But you can see a lot of people like that. You get a failure right here, but I would wait on the second entry short, which comes right here. And I just mark this green because you're going into that midline. Um, and yeah, we're not really playing a trend. Cancel that. And I didn't see anything for the rest of the day, really. Even in this good move up. Maybe I missed something, but I don't really care to look through it again. So I hope everyone had a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow.